What's up, sports geeks? It's your host Josh Keeney here, back with another episode. Today, I'm joined by Nick. Nick, how you doing?
Doing great, excited.
Yes,
Very
sir.
excited.
So we got our first college basketball episode today. College basketball season has been hectic.
It has. Insane.
There's been no true number one. I
No.
know last year Gonzaga was dominant all year.
Yep.
We've had pretty much a true number one for a while now.
I'd say at least the past 10 years.
Yeah, and this year there's none, not even close.
Not even close to a perfect team.
No, so there's a ton to break down in college basketball.
There is.
I know we were talking about like what we want to go
Yeah.
over in this first one. We're just going to stick to Big Ten.
Yeah.
Just Big Ten. We'll have more episodes coming out with Big 12, with Pac-12, with SEC, ACC, with everything here. Obviously, running right into March Madness season, which is the best time of the year.
About a month and a half away.
I know, dude. I can't wait. Selection Sunday's got to be like top 5 day of my year.
Probably top 3 for me at least.
Top 3, yeah.
I love everything college basketball.
Like I can't think of like a day that has more excitement for
just building up from the day, from the start.
I know.
Noon, you get 3 or 4 championship games. You
Yeah.
sneak a team in that didn't really deserve to be there, and that's the favorite part. And then you get it at 6 o'clock. Get the whole bracket.
Yeah,
I love it.
And then of course, and then you're building up to the point where the next week, all I'm doing is sitting there building brackets.
Yep. I'm gonna fill out at least 10 brackets. You got to make sure you don't got to work on that Thursday, Friday, because
yeah.
you're watching games from 12 p.m. to about 12 a.m.
Yeah,
So
it's a full-time job. It's a
it
full-time
really-
job for 4 days.
it really is.
But I would argue that that's the 4 best days in basketball is the
100%.
first and second round. Now, obviously, like Final Four and championships
Yeah,
and better
right.
games, but like.
You get those upsets in the first week.
And you get so many games. Like,
Just-
you have like a laptop, a phone, and a
Yep.
TV. And,
You get like 4 games at once.
yeah, for sure. But, all right, so we'll hop right into this Big Ten here, though. Purdue's been great.
They have. They've ran this conference. I mean, the only thing that's lacking for them is their guard play. But, I mean, you have Zach Edey, and, I mean, you're 7'2", your wingspan's well over 7 foot. Like, he just owns it.
Yeah. I mean, there's a difference between having a good big guy and having an unguardable big guy.
Yeah,
And
that's him.
A good big guy can, with good defense, be stopped.
Mhm.
It's impossible to play defense on him
Yeah, I mean,
to stop him because of just
he's just so big.
he's so big.
It's absurd.
I do think that, if there's going to be a true number one so far this season, it would be Purdue.
I agree.
They just lost to Indiana.
That was a great game.
It was a great game.
That was a fantastic game.
We saw a battle for the 2 best bigs in the Big Ten.
Yeah, and they both put up insane numbers. It was 29 and 18 for Edey, and then 25 on 50% shooting for.
And 5 blocks.
Yeah.
TJD. Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah, those are the 2 best bigs in the Big Ten. Cliff Awurie, I struggle to pronounce his name every time, but he's great as well.
He's fantastic. I mean, he keeps Rutgers afloat.
Yeah, he does.
He did it on Saturday against Michigan State.
Yeah, I know.
As sad as that is for you, but he kept them afloat. He was able to make the big shot when he needed it, and it was huge. It came down to the end. They made their free throws.
Yeah, they did.
They walked away with it.
Yeah, they were. I'll tell you what. When I was watching that game, I didn't realize until the end when Michigan State was fouling. So they fouled like 4 different guys.
Yep.
Every time a guy goes to the line, they show up their free throw percentage.
Yeah.
And I'm like, every dude is 85% plus.
They shoot the free throws insanely well. It's crazy.
It's spectacular.
They don't miss a beat.
No,
It's absurd.
Since that's what's something where obviously we're all trying to relate this down to March Madness, right? And that's where you see some teams do really well. In March Madness.
That's where you see teams win games.
Yep.
Playing in these bigger arenas, the NBA arenas. You got a bigger background. It's harder to shoot the 3. It's harder to shoot the free throw, and teams like that will go to the line and will miss maybe 2 all game.
Yep, and a much bigger stage. I mean,
Exactly.
when you have inexperienced guards, which I know we're going to talk about guard play
Oh,
all day today. When you have inexperienced guards in March Madness, you struggle.
Exactly. It's going to come down to that.
Mhm.
You
And
could have the best big man like Purdue, but if your guard play is not there, you're not going to.
And that's the only thing that's a little bit concerning for Purdue. I know the
I
Big
agree.
Ten's been really rough the
It
past
has.
couple of years when it gets to March Madness.
Yeah.
We've really struggled.
They have struggled. They haven't gone as far and as deep as all these teams that make it want to go, but they get teams there. I mean, right now I think they're projected to have 7 or 8 teams make it, and that's tied with the Big 12 for the most. Those are 2 powerhouse conferences, but it's like you can't always just get there.
Yeah.
You got to actually make a run.
The Big 12 has been consistently getting there and being top of the line
Yes.
when they get there with the likes of Baylor, with the likes of Kansas.
And then,
Big Ten hasn't.
and then you add Houston. And
Yeah,
that next year.
Yeah, you had Houston and Cincinnati.
Yeah, I mean, Cincinnati, they try their hardest, but
Yeah, we might get crushed for a couple of years, but it's good for the program.
Yeah, exactly.
But so I think Purdue's. I mean, not I think. I know they're the clear number one in this conference, like we said.
Yeah.
Edie obviously is unguardable. I mean, I know as a Michigan State fan, he torched us twice. And I think the biggest thing with Zach Edey is he stays out of foul trouble.
He does. It's actually really impressive because when you have a guy that's only TJD's only like 6'8", I think.
Yeah, 6'8", 6'9".
He's 6'8", 6'9". He weighs like maybe 230. He went downhill against Edey so many times trying to get him to draw a foul on him, and he never did because he was always straight up.
He's extremely disciplined.
It was fantastic.
Yeah, he knows. Well, I think he understands that if I stand straight up, it's just as hard for me to guard it as if I jump. So why would I jump?
Exactly.
And stays out of foul trouble, which means he can stay on the court and play 36 minutes a game. Which if he were to get into foul trouble, I think we could definitely see you could see Purdue fall off the map.
Oh yeah, you could definitely see some issues because when they had to take him out, I think he got 2 before half, but other than that, like the whole second half he was 5 fouls. They had to take him out, and Trace Jackson-Davis just went to work.
Yeah.
I mean, he owned that backup big man. I don't know his name, but I forget who it was. Maybe Gilson or something, but he tore him up. Like, it wasn't even close.
Yeah. Now I tell you what, Edey passes extremely well out of the post as well. So
he does. When they crash down on him, he knows exactly where and when to get rid of the ball.
And their entire team does very well at cutting. Yeah. Like they understand that if their guy leaves to double, you go to the rim.
Yep.
It's the backside block. I know it happened in Michigan State several times.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is that when you have guards like Fletcher and Boyer, you're going to have guys that are able to hit threes, such as Fletcher Boyer and your other role players. And you're going to be Edey's either going to get a 1v1 post matchup or somebody's going to
someone's going to give. And if they can knock down those shots, they could have a very deep tournament run.
Very deep. I mean, especially with Edey, we just touched on it, his discipline on defense.
Yeah,
if he's always on the court and he's that unguardable, your offensive efficiency is through the roof.
Oh, it's going to be insane.
But this Purdue team, we expect to be a 1 seed.
Yeah,
they were going to have to really struggle the rest of the season to not be a 1 seed.
Conference record 11-2, 22-2 overall. I mean, with the losses that are happening to all these projected 1 seeds like Kansas, Houston dropping to Temple the other day, it's going to be hard for Purdue not to take home a 1 seed here.
Right. Yeah, they're going to have to really fall off the face of the earth. But so coming in a second here in the Big Ten, as of right now, this is being recorded on February 6th. So anything after that, we have not touched on yet. So, but we do have Rutgers at 2. They're 8-4 in the Big Ten, and 16-7, which as we look along. There's a lot of teams that are 16-7 here. Rutgers, Indiana, Illinois, Northwestern, Maryland are all 16-7.
Second place in this conference is wide open.
Absolutely.
Absolutely
it is
wide open.
Like tournament time. I'll tell you what is going to be fun in this Big Ten.
Oh,
when it comes to Big Ten tournament,
that's going to be a great tournament.
Outside of Minnesota and Purdue,
anybody has a chance of.
Anybody could.
Even a 3-9 Ohio State. I'll say they're not very good right now. They started off the season so much better than they played right now, but. That record,
Well, the other thing you have to think about is every game is so difficult in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
So
you're not getting off.
To be 3-9, you look at that. They're 3-9 in the Big Ten, but that would mean they're 8-3 outside the Big Ten.
Exactly. And they went to Maui and they won 2 games, beat the crap out of UC, beat them actually by 30.
Yeah, they beat them bad.
So it shows that Ohio State's not a bad team. They're just young.
Yeah,
they're very young. Chris Holtman's he's not trying to go the route of the transfer. He wants to bring in his own guys that are freshmen. Coach him up. But.
Yeah. Now I think he's going to struggle because I think Sensabaugh's gone.
Yeah, I think he's going to leave. He's really good. I'm pretty sure Justice Sewing's going to be gone as well too. So that's their their 2 best guys.
Yeah. And Zedke, I think, has dealt with some injury issues this year.
Yeah, he's got a bad shoulder.
Yeah, and so I think if you have those 3 guys all healthy, they could definitely make a Big Ten tournament run. But a team like Ohio State right now, you're looking at you have to make a tournament run or win or close out the season really well if you want to make the tournament.
Yeah, at this point, you're sitting at 11-12. You're 3-9. You've lost 9 in a row. Something's got to budge.
Yeah, and a program like Ohio State, you expect to see the tournament every year, right? What was it? 2 years ago, they were 2 seed, right? When they lost to Oral Roberts.
Yep, that team was so good.
You were 2 seed though 2 years ago, and even last year, I don't know what seed they were off the top of my head, but they were, good.
I want to say they were anywhere from the 5 to 7 range.
I can look it up real quick. But either way, you would expect a program like that.
You wouldn't think you'd see that big of a drop off that quick, especially considering they didn't lose a coach and they lost maybe 2 players, I think, the whole time.
Yeah, I mean,
So
now you lost. They were 7th seed last year. Yeah, but I mean, you lost Brenham, who was great.
yeah,
And especially especially at the end of the year last year, you lost
he
him.
was fantastic.
You lost a lot of guys in transfer portal too. Like, I mean, so they're struggling a little bit this year, which is what you would expect. But I think this Big Ten season, Big Ten tournament is going to be really fun to watch because a team like Ohio State, a team with Bryce Sensabaugh and Justice Suing, could blow up at any point.
There's literally only one team in the Big Ten I think has zero chance, and that is Minnesota.
They're awful.
Because I watched Nebraska last night against Penn State. That was a huge win by them because Penn State needed that win because they're sitting on the bubble right now in the tournament.
Yeah.
And Kisei Tamanaga, he just absolutely went off last night. I think he had like 30 points. He played fantastic.
Yeah, he has potential to blow up. And
He does.
That's exactly what we saw last
You
night.
never know what you're going to get with him.
No,
you really
and that's the issue is that when they get to the tournament,
he's never consistent enough.
For him to put, I mean, what is it, 6 games?
Yeah,
6 games in a row and play great.
That's good. You're going to be asking for a lot there, but
yeah.
I mean, yesterday going up against Jalen Pickett, who's in the race for the National Player of the Year, only guy right now I think in college basketball is averaging 17, 7, and 7.
It's insane, and he also has. Well, I think one of the most impressive stats that he has is he has like a 3.4 assist to turnover ratio.
Yeah,
which for a guy that handles the ball as much as he does is spectacular.
That's fantastic.
Like,
the way he can handle the ball and not lose it. It's crazy.
Especially for somebody that you see maybe guys that just assist but they don't score a lot.
Yeah.
Like so you're not really looking to like force passes. You're just kind of finding the open guy and getting the offense in.
You're the system point guard. You're not looking to score. You're just
exactly. He's the guy that's creating every shot.
Yeah,
it's like you're throwing risky passes. You're throwing the lob to the big guy because you're coming off the screen. Like he's the lead. I think, and that's exactly what I wanted to get into with this Penn State team. Is that they can go deep because they have, in my opinion, the best guard in the Big Ten.
No, they're dangerous. They're definitely dangerous. They're sitting there at 5-7, 14-9. I mean, they were, I think, maybe one of the first 4 teams out of the tournament by Lenardi. Like, they are right there.
Yeah.
They just need to string together some wins late. And that one yesterday, I'm not saying it killed them, but it definitely hurt because they needed that.
Yeah.
I would have put them to 6-6, 14-9, right up there with Michigan State.
Yep. And I'll tell you what, though. The last team that I would want to play is like if I'm like a 6th seed, the last 11th seed I would really want to play would be this Penn State team.
Yeah, there's
you're going to play against one of the best guards in the league.
You're getting hosed there if you have to play them.
Yeah,
if you're a 6th seed.
I mean, we could see like an 11th seed run like UCLA put together.
Yep. Or like I don't like bringing them up, but X like 5 years ago I think when they were the 11 and they played Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knew that Maryland was not deserving of a 6th seed.
Yep.
And everyone knew like X is going to win this game, and they did easily.
It's
like running away with it.
Yeah, this could be if you get Penn State as an 11th seed, this could be one of those like upsets where like the 11th seed is favored over the 6th seed.
It's one of those upsets where everyone's like,
it's picked in 75% of the brackets.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be one of those games.
Yeah, but that Penn State team's good. But kind of still working away from top to bottom here.
Yeah.
We touched on Indiana. I think they're just a little too inconsistent at their guard play.
I agree. I definitely agree with that. They rely too much on Trace Jackson-Davis and Race Thompson to get the job done.
Mm-hmm. And Trey Galloway hits some shots every now and then, but when you rely that much on Trace Jackson-Davis, especially when you are relying on somebody that doesn't have something like Edey has, that's unguardable.
Yeah, exactly. He can be shut down.
He can be. He's physical. He's extremely good around the rim.
Yeah.
He is very good getting vertical quick. I think that's the big thing. Is he
can get to the hole very fast.
Yes, and his drop step, and by the time that you're going up to block the shot, the ball's already getting dunked through because he elevates so quickly. But their guard play is just so.
It's just they're not consistent. They don't make shots. I mean, Xavier. It hurts them. They obviously don't have Xavier Johnson.
Yep.
Hood Schifino, he's good. As a freshman, he's come in and he's taken the reins from Xavier Johnson when he's injured. He's been fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, he's really been good on dribbling the ball, not turning it over, and creating his own shot. He's really good when it comes to mid-range. He's not really there with the 3 ball yet, but I mean, he's young.
Yeah, you would expect it to come on.
Yeah, that'll eventually get there. But if they can figure out a way to get Trey Galloway to start shooting better and Miller Kopp to start shooting better, they could also be another really dangerous team.
Yep, but I mean, I think the big thing with this is in tournament time, the huge thing is you have to have good guard play.
Yeah, no,
because if your guards get sped up by their guards, and their guards are able to slow down the game, you're going to get screwed because
you'll be done.
I mean, you have to be able to control the pace of the game, and Zach Edey and Trace Jackson Davis can't do that.
No.
But, who can is Fletcher Lawyer,
Yep.
right? Who really can is Jalen Pickett.
Yeah.
When you have guys
When
like
you
that.
have those guards that can do that.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, that's what we saw with that Baylor team that was phenomenal, right?
Yeah.
Look at the guards that they had.
The guards they had on that team.
Davion Mitchell, Adam Flagler. I mean, you had very good guards that were also elite at defense.
Oh, not only could they control the tempo of the game, they played great defense and they shot the lights out of the ball.
Especially in that championship.
That Baylor team couldn't miss a 3 in that championship.
That was insane. I was in California for Easter that day or that week and was on the flight home and they had it on, thank God. And it was just like,
Couldn't believe it.
Oh my goodness! Like, what am I watching? Like,
I thought this is the year Gonzaga gets the job done. Like that team was
great. Jalen Suggs,
Timmy, Kispert.
Yeah, Kispert's been really good.
Memhard.
Yeah, Kispert's been great this year.
He has.
I think he's at like 40% from 3 this year, which is
he's been fantastic.
His shot form is just gorgeous to watch.
Oh,
too. It is like if you were to like slow motion build somebody like perfect shot form,
his shot is great.
Yeah, it's gorgeous to watch. But I mean, we talk about that all the time, right? The guard play in tournament time shows to be way more valuable than bigs, right?
No doubt about
Look at Kentucky last year.
Yep.
Ty Washington was good, but he got sped up.
Yep.
And by the GOAT, Doug Eder. Doug Eder. Yeah, so he got sped up by.
He let Doug control the pace of the game, and instantly took him out of their flow. And then Kentucky had to play St. Peter's game, and that's the scariest thing for a low seed. Yeah. When you give that 15, 14 seed, you give them that confidence.
Well, they have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
But I mean, look at who's the best big guy in the league or in the nation last year. Probably Sheboy.
Yeah,
You had the best big guy in the nation, and you were unable
to go anywhere
to do anything because you couldn't control the pace of the game.
You let your guards get flustered and let St. Peter say, "Look, guys, we have them here. We can play our game. If we play our game, we are going to win."
Right.
And it showed all throughout the tournament because that's why they got so far.
Right.
They played their game.
Right. So I mean, I think that's what's going to be huge. Is looking at these teams, who has great guard play that's going to be able to control that pace. I tell you what, I think Penn State definitely does.
I'd say Penn State does.
I think Wisconsin has the potential to. Chucky Hepburn is very good.
He's really good.
Outside of him, I don't know. I don't know where you're going to turn to though.
Yeah.
Like if in the off chance, he picks up an early foul, picks up another charge. What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Yeah, I mean you're going to be in trouble.
But looking at the rest of these teams, Illinois is going to be interesting. Illinois has potential to beat any team in the nation by 40 or to lose to anybody.
It's crazy because they've been so up and down. But that Illinois team, they're getting the best year of Terrence Shannon Jr.'s college career.
Yeah,
he's putting up his best numbers.
He's playing elite. I mean,
and then Meyer,
yeah,
he's putting up great numbers too. Like when he gets hot, that man does not miss.
No. I mean, you're looking at this team, though. I mean, you lose to Northwestern, you lose to Missouri by 22.
Yeah, that was bad. That was embarrassing.
It's terrible. I mean, and then you go and you beat UCLA by 9. You beat Texas in overtime.
Yeah.
I mean,
they have great wins, but
you're beating some really good teams with also losing to some really bad teams.
Some very suspect teams.
Yeah, this team's going to be. It's going to be interesting to see in tournament time how do they fare? Do they develop some more consistent shooting?
Exactly.
Or because they don't have Kofi Coburn anymore, they don't have Andre Curbelo to control the pace.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do? It's going to be interesting.
It's going to be very interesting. I forget the name of their point guard, but I know he's a freshman, and he's been running the show at the point. I don't exactly remember his name.
It's not Epps, is it?
It might be Epps.
Or is it Rogers?
It's one of those two, but I know it's a freshman who's running the show, and at times in those games they have those bad losses. He gets sped up. Mm-hmm. He'll get sped up, and he'll have some turnovers and some costly turnovers at that. Yeah. And then it also doesn't help. The thing that scares me with this team is the fact that Brad Underwood, earlier in the year said, "You guys have no heart. You have no leadership."
Exactly.
Basically, just cuss the team out. All right, I'm done with you. If you're the coach of that team, this is a whole new system. You bring your top 2 players are transfers.
Yeah.
And then your next 2 guys up, another one, their center, he's a transfer from Baylor, and then their starting point guard Epps, he's a freshman.
Yeah.
This team has no chemistry together. As a coach, you got to build that up.
Right.
You can't just straight up tell them, like, you guys don't have heart. You guys don't care.
Yeah. If you're looking at a team like Indiana, that has had guys there for a while,
Yeah.
right? You have Jackson Davis has been there for a while. Galloway's been there for a while. You can scold them like that,
Yeah.
right? You can say, look, you guys don't have leadership to motivate them.
Exactly.
If you have guys where you don't have
They don't
a
have
set leader, you have to find it.
Exactly.
You can't be ripping on them. You guys
Yeah.
don't have any leadership. You got to be like, look, encourage them to get some leadership.
Exactly. Like, look, I need somebody to step up and be a leader, not just say in their post-game press conference, no, like this team has no heart, no leadership, they have nothing.
Yeah.
That's like,
And I think the big loss that they have is Trent Frazier.
yeah, no, that's very true.
He was very good, and he was also there for 5 years. I think he's an all-time leading scorer.
Yeah, I mean, that man could not only play great defense, he could shoot, fill it up, and he'd also still be a leader.
Yes, and very good leader, great locker room guy.
Yeah.
But either way, this Illinois team's going to be interesting. They're sitting at 4th right now in the Big Ten. With the same, I mean, they're tied for 3rd, I guess. There are 6 teams tied for 3rd right now in the Big Ten.
It's insane.
And then Michigan State's 1 game behind them.
Yeah, I mean,
and you have Penn State and Wisconsin 2 games behind them. Like,
yeah,
the difference between 3rd and what would that be, like 9th is
it's
2 games.
literally 2 games. It's crazy. Like, this league from 2 to 9 is wide open.
Yeah, I mean, it's spectacular. But kind of moving down this, we've touched on Purdue, Rutgers. I mean, we haven't touched on Rutgers that much. Aurier is good, and Cam Spencer's been lighting it up this year.
Fantastic. And it also helps they got the rack.
Yeah.
You can't go, it's hard to go play there at the rack.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw what they did earlier. They beat Purdue. I mean, came in there.
For the 2nd year in a row.
Yeah. It's hard to play at that place. And I mean, you got a good home court advantage. That means the world in college basketball.
Absolutely.
It means the world.
It doesn't mean anything in March, I'll tell you that.
No.
But it helps with confidence too.
Yeah.
They have some guards in like Paul Mulcahy. I don't like watching him play that much. He's just kind of like weird to watch.
Mm-hmm.
But he gets the job done. He rebounds really well for a guard.
Yeah.
He's a bigger guard. He's able to rebound. He's able to back his guy down on the post. He's able to pass well because typically he has point guard on him.
Exactly.
And which is bigger than. So I think they have some good guard play. I think Aurier is good. I think the only thing that could really get them is 3-point shooting, because Mulcahy really doesn't do that well.
No, he does not.
And Cam Spencer is very streaky.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's probably their one downfall.
Yeah. I mean, Aurier is great in the post. You have good guard play as far as handling the ball, as far as like controlling the pace that we talked about. But 3-point shooting is a little bit suspect.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think when it's going to come down to the stretch in a big game, can they have that guy who can get that big shot when they need a 3? I mean, obviously, if they need a 2 to tie, they can go to Cliff. But if they need that 3, who's going to be that guy who can step up and knock down that shot?
Right, and I think it's Cam Spencer. It has to be, but he's been suspect. I mean, some games he's on, some games he's not. You need a little bit more consistency.
I agree with you on that. Yeah, for sure.
To be looking at an actual deep tournament run.
Yeah.
But moving down our list here, Northwestern's a team I really want to touch on. Boo Buie, got to be top 3 names.
Oh, I mean,
in college basketball this year.
Fantastic name.
I mean,
it's. I don't know where you come up with a name like that. But I love it. I think it's a great name.
Yeah, I think it is too. But Boo Buie and Chase Aldich is a phenomenal backcourt.
Oh, fantastic.
I mean,
fantastic.
And you talk about, I know we talk about controlling the pace, right? To speed, you're looking at 2 guys that if you want to speed the other team up, they're the best in the Big Ten.
No doubt about
it. The best defensive backcourt in college basketball by far.
They can get so downhill so fast.
Yes.
It's insane.
And
they can turn you over and then like that, they're running.
Yeah, it is. This Northwestern team is dangerous. I will say losing Pete Nance is big.
Yeah.
That was tough because
if they could have kept him,
this team
was probably going to compete for the title for the Big Ten.
Yeah,
there's no doubt about it.
I mean, Pete Nance has been he was really good last year. He's been very this year, but he's also in a different you're in a different program with also a lot of shot taking guards.
Different program, different system.
Yeah, you look at Caleb Love and you look at RJ Davis.
Those guys will never turn down a shot.
Right, and not even mentioning Armando Big Hot.
Yeah, I mean,
you're not even the best. If they're gonna go to a big, you're not.
Yeah, they're not going to him.
So I mean, whether he's going to be able to compete for a national championship better there, than he would have been at Northwestern. But if you're looking at like draft stock, you're probably improving your draft stock more to be at Northwestern.
Exactly.
You get to showcase
because you could be the guy.
Right, but either way, Boo Buie and Chase Aldich are great. They're going to be able to control the pace against teams. This team right now is sitting at 7-5 in the conference and 16-7 overall. I don't want to say they're locked to get into the tournament, but they're gonna have to really struggle down the road to not make the tournament. I do think a team like Maryland, who has the exact same record, I can very well see not making the tournament.
Yeah, no, Maryland's they have to take, they have their own destiny in their own hands.
Yeah.
Basically. You just got to be able to win the games you have to win down the stretch. And personally, that starts tomorrow with Michigan State.
Yeah.
You go into Michigan State, you have to win that game if you're Maryland.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at Maryland. To look at Maryland's, schedule, you need some big wins. Like big time. You need to have those wins in your roster where, the bracketology analysts are going to say, look, we should put them in because of this.
And they really don't have.
They beat IU 2 games ago.
Okay.
But outside of that,
their losses to these ranked teams are really close. They only lost to
outside
by
of
3.
Outside of UCLA, they got stomped by UCLA, but they lost Tennessee by 3. Now they've lost to Michigan by 35.
Yeah.
And then you lose to Rutgers by 14, and then you beat Ohio State, and then lose to Iowa. So they've had a rough stretch here after a very good start. I mean, you look at this; they started 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-0 with wins over Miami, Florida, Illinois.
St. Louis is not a bad team either.
St. Louis is not bad.
They're number 2 right now in the A10.
Yeah,
so they're a good basketball team.
That's the team that's definitely. It seems as if they've peaked. Now, after saying that, I will say that they've won 4 straight.
Yeah.
And it's been Wisconsin, Nebraska, Indiana, and then obviously the wonderful team in Minnesota.
Yeah, Minnesota.
But
this 3-game stretch they have coming up, though,
is important.
It's brutal. You go at Michigan State, then you come home for Penn State, then you stay at home and you have number 1 Purdue. Yep. If you're going to be a tournament team, I think you have to go 2 out of 3.
That's what I was thinking there too. You can lose to Purdue. But you have to beat Michigan State and Penn State.
You have to beat Michigan State and Penn State if you want to be
safely
in the tournament.
I think probably if you lose to Michigan State and Penn State in order to beat Purdue, you're probably still fine.
Yeah, I would agree.
Because I think those would outweigh each other. But if you lose to Michigan State and Penn State, I don't think you're going to beat Purdue.
Yeah, I mean, they still have to play Penn State twice.
Yeah, which is tough. That's really tough.
They get to end the year at Penn State. And for Penn State, that game might mean a lot.
Yeah, I mean,
there's a really good chance that game means a lot.
We could be looking at a situation where it's like essentially the winner, if the conference tournament were to not exist, the winner would get in, the loser doesn't get in.
Yeah.
I mean, but moving down this list is still, we have Iowa, the exact same record in the Big Ten as Maryland Northwestern, but they're 15-8 overall. They have Chris Murray, younger brother of Keegan Murray.
Fantastic.
Who's been great this year. I mean, we've seen, can he step into your brother's shoes?
And he did exactly that.
And he did. Maybe not quite to the level that Keegan was last year, but either way, been great.
Yeah.
And I think this Iowa team's a little bit confusing too.
I feel like they've been a bit disappointing this year. Their 15-8 record's kind of disappointing. I feel like they should be better than that. But like you said, I mean, Chris Murray's been fantastic. Philip Obraka's been really good too.
Yes, he has been. Yep.
Coming in, he's been great. And then you got McCaffrey's 2 sons. They've been fantastic.
Yeah. I think Patrick's been a little bit better.
He was the one who took the leave of absence, correct? I want to say it was him.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe so, but don't quote me on that. But they've had a very suspect, they've been very streaky, I should say.
Yeah.
Looking at this, they lose to, I think that's Eastern Illinois.
Yeah. Yeah, they did.
You lose to Eastern Illinois, Nebraska, and Penn State in 3. And then you win some. You beat IU, Rutgers, Michigan, Maryland on a 4-game win streak. I mean, that's a spectacular.
Yeah, that's a very, very good win streak.
And then you go lose to Ohio State, lose to Michigan State. I mean, you lose to Michigan State. Michigan State's got to be top 3 team in the country. So
that Ohio State one was a bad one too, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, they lost by 16 to
that was,
Ohio State team. You gave up 93 to a struggling
offensively. I mean, that was a bad
one. But then you go beat Illinois.
Yeah.
So it's super streaky here, but I'll tell you what, we do have in 3 days, then against Purdue. At Purdue, and looking at the schedule here left, you have at Purdue and at IU. You also have home against Michigan State, and you have at Northwestern. Between those 4 games, you got to win, probably 2.
I'd say you have to go at least 2 and 2.
Yeah.
If you can get 3 and 1 out of that, then I mean that's very good for you, but you got to win at least 2.
Yeah.
that'll put you at 17-10.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, you should be in a spot where you should be fine. But then it also depends on what you can do in the conference tournament. Because if you go out in first round,
Yeah, say if you're a first round exit, then you know what? Have fun in the NIT because that's where you're going to be sitting at.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not going to hear your name called on Selection Sunday.
Yeah. But okay, so we'll go ahead and move into the two Michigan schools. We'll start with just Michigan. This team's interesting.
Very interesting. Very underwhelming.
Yeah.
Hunter Dickinson, he's been fantastic this year. He's still put up like 18 and 9, I think, like almost every game. You obviously got Howard's son, Jet. He's fantastic, but he can get into foul trouble sometimes. Mm-hmm. I thought it killed when his last week they played Purdue, and they said he was going to play at like 5:30. The game wasn't until 8:30. So they said he was going to play. He went through his warm up or whatever, and then like 20 minutes before the game started, they said he's not playing. And I honestly think that might have been the sole reason they lost to Purdue. Yeah. I think they would have won that game if he played. Like he's that good.
Yeah, he's very good. And I tell you what, Hunter Dickinson has been a little bit underwhelming to me this year. He's been, you talked about as one of the elite bigs in the nation in the past couple of years, right? And he's not even top like 3 in the Big Ten this year. I mean, Edey and Jackson Davis clear by a mile. Mm-hmm. And then, Awurie, I would say would be right there with him.
Yeah, no, it's definitely could be interchangeable with 3A, 3B for sure.
So I think it's just a little bit like underwhelming. Do you want to take a step into that elite role, or do you just want to be great?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I mean, for him, from what I've watched, it seems like he tends to hunt his shot a little too much sometimes because he feels like it's his team. He's got to be the one who does it, and if it's not dropping, he'll still put up 15 points, but it'll be, it'll be on what? He'll be shooting
7-22 from
he'll be shooting 22 shots and he'll not even make 20%, like 25% of the shots. And that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a big problem.
Yeah, for sure. Now, this Michigan team, I don't think they have the pieces around Howard and Dickinson to be able to compete.
Yeah,
I think they're going to really struggle down the stretch here. They are sitting right now above my Spartans in the Big Ten. And the Spartans are interesting, dude, because they have obviously a team that I follow extremely closely.
Yeah.
They are extremely inconsistent with their guard play. A.J. Hoggard and Tyson Walker can play absurd in a game.
Yeah.
And the next game play miserable.
Oh, exactly. When you see those two names of A.J. Hoggard and Tyson Walker, like, those are household names. Across all college basketball, people know those names, and you see that, and it's kind of surprising and a little bit disappointing that they can't stay consistent.
Right. I think it's been some. What I can tell you what our problem is we can't defend the post.
Yeah, no, that's a problem because you got Joey Hauser as your 4, right?
And Matty Sissoko as your 5.
Yeah,
Sissoko's not big enough.
No, he's not.
Like 6'9".
You guys play undersized,
and you cannot do that in the Big Ten.
No.
So I think when you play teams outside the Big Ten, which is exactly what you see on Michigan State's resume.
Yeah, like you guys are fantastic when it's not in your conference.
You're right.
You're playing out of conference, you guys are fine.
I mean, you're looking at a 1-point loss to Gonzaga. You beat
UK and overtime.
You beat Villanova. You lose to Alabama, who's been excellent.
And only by 11, which isn't really that bad.
No, it's not. I mean, for looking at where Michigan State is right now, you would expect Alabama to almost like thrash them.
Yeah.
If you just looked at the records. But they also have some big wins. You beat Rutgers. You obviously lose to Purdue by 1.
Yeah, I watched that game. That was brutal. That was brutal.
But outside of the Big Ten, they've been very good. But the problem is you from here on out, all you have is the Big Ten.
Exactly.
And so you have got to win some games.
Got to be consistent. You got to start stringing together wins.
Yeah, absolutely. I know. So I'm going to they play Ohio State on Sunday, and I'm going to be at that game in Columbus.
That's a must win.
It is a must win. You play Maryland tomorrow. If you were to lose to Maryland, you have to beat Ohio State, Minnesota, Michigan.
I agree. You have to win those 3.
IU you can lose.
Yeah.
And then you have to beat Iowa, Nebraska,
and Ohio State again. And I think that is possible.
I think so too.
It's Izzo. That man's etched his name into college basketball and in the tournament. Yeah. He always finds a way to get there, even if his team is undervalued and doesn't play well. He always finds a way to get in there.
He does. The day he retires is going to be like one of the like most bittersweet
Oh.
moments in my lifetime as a
Yeah,
Michigan
for
State
sure.
fan. You know, like I'm happy to see him like finally hanging up and like go enjoy time with your wife and kids.
Mhm.
But like that program, I don't know if it's gonna fall off or not.
I don't think it will.
But I will say the recruiting class that he has coming in next year is quite possibly his best.
I was gonna say I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, you have Xavier Booker, who's the number 5 player in the class.
Yeah.
You have Jeremy Fears, who's like a top 5 point guard in the class. You have some really, I mean, you have somebody, I think you have like 6'8" forward, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, coming in as well. So you have some really good guys coming in next year.
You got some good pieces coming in. Those are going to be huge for you. But I think one thing that he may need to look at is possibly the transfer portal.
Yeah.
Try to get himself a legitimate 6'10", 6'11" big guy.
Yeah. Well, that's what he did with Hauser, right?
Yeah.
He got Hauser from Marquette.
Yeah.
Where Hauser was great with his brother. His brother then went to Virginia.
And now he's in the NBA.
Yep, and shooting well for the Celtics, actually. But, it was funny. They both went to Marquette.
I honestly thought they were both going to go to Michigan State.
I did too.
I really did.
But, what can you do? We got Joey. We can be happy with that. Sam was good at Virginia. But we got Joey in the transfer portal. We also got Tyson Walker from Northeastern.
That was a great get.
It was a great get. And that was the replacement for Rocket Watts.
Dude's got a high motor.
Yeah, he does. He is. And he's electric and very capable of going off. We saw that in the Purdue game.
Yeah,
he had 30 against Purdue. We lost by 1. It's unfortunate.
But still.
I mean, he showed you that you can beat the best team in the country.
With good guard play.
And
that's all you need.
And by being carried from him.
Exactly.
Now, what Michigan State's going to do as far as like 3-point shooting, I think they really struggle. Yeah. Hauser can be great. I know we saw it last year when they played Davidson.
Yeah.
In the first round, he shot lights out.
Lights out of the ball.
And they needed him to. They won by like 4 points or something.
Yeah.
He was lights out. But we're seeing it this year. He's very inconsistent. And we've said that word so much.
And it seems that he's not really trying to hunt his shot either. Mm-hmm. Like if he sees a 3, it's wide open, he'll take it. But he's not going to try to take a somewhat contested one, knowing that he can make it, which I think is kind of a problem.
Yeah. And I think it's also been like the offense has been it's not been revolved around him. And I don't want to say revolved because he's not good enough to have the offense revolve around him. But the offense hasn't been designed to get him some shots.
No.
If you watched last year, they run the play where they, they'll have both guys come up for a pick and roll. And so you come off the one, so you come off of Hauser's.
Yeah.
And then he slips to the rim. He slips to the rim, and then the other big comes and sets a screen. And as he's setting the screen, Hauser pops right back out.
Yeah.
To where the other big
is. Or he's got that open shot.
Yeah, and they would do that time and time again, and he would get open 3 after open 3. It just hasn't been ran that much this year. So I think that it's going to be interesting. They also have had Malik Hall, who's not played very much at all because
injuries.
I didn't mean to spit some rhymes there, but Malik Hall really hasn't played, and he's very good when he plays.
When they get him back 100% and get him back in the rotation, I think you guys are right back up to being a top 4 team in the Big Ten.
Yeah. It's just whether he can stay healthy. I know he had a foot injury, came back, it flared up again. I know he's back now. Hopefully it doesn't flare up. I really hope he doesn't.
He's coming off the bench, right?
Yeah.
Or he was?
Yeah, he was. Okay. He will start once he's back.
Yeah,
but maybe not. If he starts playing really well
if he's great off the bench, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Him coming in and being your six man, the guy who brings a little extra off the bench.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong.
I really hope it doesn't flare up before Sunday because I want to see him
play exactly. On Sunday. He'll be a huge asset.
Yeah, for sure.
On Sunday, if he's there. And the rest of the year.
Yeah. But there's definitely some bad losses on there. But kind of moving in, we're getting to, I know we talked about Penn State already. Kind of touch on Penn State real quick. Seth Lundy's been great this year as well.
Yeah.
That's a very good duo with Jalen Pickett.
Fantastic combo. Another one right there. Them sitting at 14-9 and 5-7 in conference is not really what this season's been for them, I feel like.
No. I know we talked about, the Big Ten and how many they're going to get in. I think the first 5 are Purdue, Rutgers, Indiana, Illinois, Northwestern.
Yeah.
I think those are pretty much locked.
I think they're basically locked in. Like, you are definitely going to get those teams in the tournament.
Somebody's going to have to completely fall off the face of the earth to not get it, right?
Yeah.
But then looking at, so that's 5. You're probably looking at 7 to 8 range. The next 2 or 3, you have Maryland, Iowa, Michigan, and Michigan State, Penn State. I think Michigan State and Penn State are probably the 2 best teams out of those 5.
I'd agree with you on that. No, I'd say Michigan State and Penn State probably have the best chance of making it in the tournament.
Yeah.
because they're the most complete teams.
Yeah, and I also will say, looking at Michigan State's remaining schedule, it is extremely easy.
Very, very easy.
You're looking at this. You have home against IU, and that's really
your hardest game.
That's right.
And you get to play it at home.
Yeah, and
maybe at Michigan State just because of the rivalry, but at Michigan,
yeah.
but
I mean, Michigan's not good this year.
Yeah, so
we've seen that they've been very suspect. I mean, we've already touched on that, but I think Wisconsin. I don't really see Wisconsin making the tournament.
No.
I think Chucky Hepburn is good. Tyler Wall's been going good this year, but
That's
they're
about
not. It's about it, and they're not deep enough.
No.
They don't have an elite coach. They don't have an elite program. They don't have an elite playmaker. All they have is good players. You have a good coach, good players, good program. I don't see you taking this jump looking at their, we can pull up their remaining schedule here, but I don't think they're going to be able to win out.
I don't think so either.
Because you're in a position where you essentially would have to. You're 13-9. You're 5-7 in the Big Ten. You go at Penn State. You play home against Rutgers. You play home against Purdue. You have to go to Michigan, which is what we were talking about earlier. You'd still have to play Michigan twice.
I see 4 losses on those remaining games.
Probably. If they were to not, cool, you deserve to be in.
Yeah.
But that's a difficult remaining schedule. Briefly, I know we touched on Ohio State. Nebraska's not. I don't think Nebraska even comes close to getting in.
No.
I know Casey.
Tamanaga,
yeah. I would hate to be a commentator.
Yeah.
There's some names where it's like Giannis at the beginning of Giannis's career when nobody knew how to say it. It's like you hate to be him.
Of course.
The Greek freak.
Exactly. That's what they just say every time because they don't want to say it.
That's how I feel with Casey Tamanaga. As I would, you before you announce the game, the night before, you're definitely sitting there laying in bed Casey Tamanaga. But I don't see Nebraska really doing anything. Ohio State is going to have an elite run here.
I think they got to win out, maybe lose one in that final stretch, and they have to make it to at least the semifinals in the Big Ten tournament. Yeah. If they want to even get considered.
Which is a lot to ask because you look at what they have.
Their schedule left is brutal.
Northwestern, Michigan State. You play at Purdue. They still have to play Michigan State twice. You have Purdue, you have Northwestern, you have Illinois on there. I mean, you're looking at.
Yeah, it's a gauntlet.
It is. I mean, that's the entire Big Ten season. Yeah. But I don't see Ohio State making it in. Minnesota, believe it or not, I don't have them as a sleeper for my tournament run. They're awful.
They are so bad.
Which is weird because they were good 4 or 5 years ago. They were solid.
Yeah, with Ritual, they got rid of Richard Pitino, I think.
Yeah.
They put way too much of the blame on him. I mean, you look at what his New Mexico team is doing right now. I mean, they're very up and down, but they've been ranked 3 different times this year.
I would take that team I would take them as double-digit favorites over this Minnesota.
They have fantastic guards, and we're not talking about that league, obviously, but we'll just touch on it. They have fantastic guards, and then they have a great big man in Morris Udeze.
Yeah.
But Minnesota wanted to throw the blame on him, so he's, all right.
Whatever.
And now he's doing just fine.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's all we got from Big Ten here. I know we're going to have some more. As we close out here, what's one team you think that could overachieve when it comes to NCAA tournament time? And then also, who do you think wins, Big Ten Player of the Year this year?
Okay, so I think my team that's going to be a team that I guess it's kind of overachieving, but at the same time it's not because you would expect it. But I think Illinois.
Okay.
I think they're eventually going to get it going down the stretch. Terrence Shannon Jr.'s been there before.
Same with Meyer.
Same with Meyer. He won a championship. I'm pretty sure Shannon was a part of that Texas Tech team that went to the
Final Four.
I think that would have been a year before him. But either way, he still has that winning inside of him. He knows how to get the job done. I think them, and if I could throw in another one, I honestly want to say a team that's going to underachieve if they make it would be Iowa. We saw Iowa last year. Everyone knew when they were in that 7-10 match with Richmond that they weren't going to win that game. I think they were favored by 5. People were like, all right, Richmond's going to beat them. And Richmond did just that. Richmond beat the crap out of them.
Yeah,
it wasn't even close.
My team for sleeper, I'm going to say Penn State. We talk about it a lot. The elite guard play, I think, will carry them. You're looking at it as I see them in somewhere between the 8 and 11 seed. I could see them
It'd be a scary 8 seed.
As an 8 seed, if you are 8 or a 9 seed, if you are a 1 seed that has to play a team like Penn State in the second round, that is frightening. You want to play
Just like North Carolina.
Yeah.
Last year, Baylor had to play them. You don't think you're going to be a 1 seed, and your next game is going to be a number 8 seed North Carolina.
And look what was great about the North Carolina team. Guard play.
Exactly. Their guard play was
fantastic. Play was fantastic. Now, obviously, they had big guy who was great.
Yeah.
But Davis, you saw it. Davis.
RJ Davis. Oh, I love it. It was fantastic. Whatever they shot, they made. Yeah. They were
and they controlled the pace of the game. Yep. They sped other teams up. For Big Ten Player of the Year, this should be pretty simple. Who do you have here?
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Zach Edey.
Yeah.
I think he would have to have a very bad stretch down the end to lose it, or Trace Jackson Davis would have to probably average 26 in the next 7 games to even try to touch him.
Yeah.
What are his stats?
He's sitting at 22.5 and 13 on over 60% from the floor.
Yeah, that's.
With more, he's averaging. This is spectacular. He's averaging more blocks per game than turnovers or than fouls. Sorry.
Yeah, that's
more blocks per game than fouls.
Yeah, that's impressive.
I mean, that's like I would say that's like just as impressive as like a guard having like a 4 assist to turnover ratio.
Yeah, no, the fact that when you're that big, you're not moving fast.
No,
he's a slow guy. He is because he's checking at 7'4", almost 300 pounds. He's not quick, but he's able to be smart enough to keep his hands away and up instead of swatting down or grabbing to try to.
Very, very intelligent. And he also, now this is something that's, I don't like blaming games on refs, and I'm not going to blame a game on a ref, but I will say that referees could call an offensive foul every single time he shoots a hook shot.
Yeah.
Because he clears the elbow a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that you can argue is, okay, well, he's 7'4", the guy that's guarding him is 8 inches smaller.
Yeah.
When you do this against somebody that's your height, it's not a foul. But when you do it against somebody that's 8 inches smaller,
and it's obvious
it
when
looks
he does
like a
it
foul.
too.
Yeah,
I would definitely agree with that. It's really obvious when he does it.
So
he's just so big.
Yeah, so you could see him get in some really bad foul trouble if
it depends.
If one referee
you never know.
Call it, right?
Exactly, you never know what kind of referee you're going to get.
Right.
To be honest with you.
But I will say I'm right with you. Right with you.
I think it's
pretty easy.
I think Edey takes that home. To be honest with you, I think he takes home National Player of the Year too. I think he takes home the Naismith.
I think he will too. He's had too many games that are elite. And I don't think there's been enough guys that have had this.
No, yeah, I agree with you on that. And my one final thing on Purdue, I know we touched about it a little bit earlier, is their guard plays. A lot of people try to say that Fletcher Lawyer and I forget the point guard's name. He's a freshman.
I know exactly what you're talking about. He wears the shooting sleeve.
He was a Gatorade Player of the Year in Indiana.
Yeah, you're talking about a guy who wears shooting sleeve. Yeah.
Those two are not, as of right now, are not good enough.
Morton.
Yeah. They're not good enough to get this team to the Final Four. They're not. I don't think they're good enough right now. I really don't.
Braden Smith. That's his name. Braden Smith.
I don't think Braden Smith and Fletcher Lawyer are good enough to pair with Zach Edey to take this team to a Final Four.
I agree. The scary thing is, I believe Edey is a junior. Correct.
I believe so.
And I don't think his draft stock. Yeah, he's a junior.
No, his draft stock. I don't think. It's just like Kobe Coburn. I don't think he has one.
Yeah. So for him, especially with the new NIL stuff.
Oh,
you're probably going to make more money staying, and you also get to finish out your degree.
Exactly.
Right? For free.
Just like Drew Timme.
Yep.
He has a 5th year if he wants to next year.
Yeah, that's
and
crazy.
From what I've heard, I think he's taking it.
He's not going to be good in the NBA.
Yeah.
So you might as well.
Exactly.
Relive the glory days one more time.
But yeah, no, I agree with you on that. Zach Edey, he doesn't really have a draft stock. You're 7'4", you weigh 300 pounds. There's no need for a big man like that in the NBA anymore.
No.
That era is
you
long gone.
You can't shoot at all.
Yeah, you can't shoot. That era is long gone. Yeah. There's no need for you anymore.
Yeah. But I will say this Purdue team next year, I don't know what their recruiting class looks like, but you have Edey.
I'm going to pull that up.
You have Braden Smith, and you have Fletcher Lawyer all coming back. If Edey were to return, I would assume he would. But
I think he will. I don't see why he would go. There's really no reason for him to go.
Maybe he would have to really see something that we don't see. But
I just think it's impressive how Purdue, they plugged in 2 freshmen in Fletcher Lawyer and Braden Smith, and they've played well. They don't have any experience in the tournament. 2 young guys who probably are just turning 19.
Yeah.
Probably. And they're going to have, if they make it that far, They could run into a team like Baylor who has all of these guards that are so old and experienced, and they're just going to run it. They'll usually run it.
Yeah. But I will say real quick about this Purdue team. I know we're trying to wrap this up here.
Yeah.
They lose 2 guys this year from leaving. David Jenkins Jr. Do you know him?
No, I do not.
I tell you what, he buried a couple threes against Michigan State, but he's definitely role player at best.
Okay. Yeah.
Where I just lost
Matt
him.
Frost.
I just lost him here. Yeah, Matt Frost, who I don't think does anything.
I don't think he really plays.
So
this is concerning. Is they only have 1 recruit coming in next year. They have a 6'5" small forward / combo guard, Miles Colvin.
What star is he?
4-star, 95, 99 national. I only have 1 guy coming in. That's kind of a problem.
It is a problem, and I don't think it will be a problem next year, but it will be a problem.
No, down the road.
Yeah.
And I think Matt Painter will eventually turn to the transfer road.
Mm-hmm.
Go get yourself a transfer guard. I mean,
Yeah.
never's going to hurt you.
No. But this Purdue team next year is going to be. We're saying it like they're having a rebuilding year. They're not at all.
They'll be fantastic.
Yeah, they will be. But that's really all I have about the Big Ten.
Yeah, I mean,
you have any more closing comments here about the Big Ten?
all I really got to say is just come tournament time, keep your eye on Purdue, Indiana, and Illinois. I think those are really it. And then if you sneak in, like you said, Penn State, Michigan State, keep an eye on them because Michigan State, they almost did it when they were in the playing game against Cronin and UCLA. In a game they should have won.
You're telling me.
A game they should have won. I think I had Michigan State picked in every bracket. That Michigan State team was complete, and they got in, and they should have won that game.
That still hurts to this day because seeing how far that UCLA team went, Michigan State should have beat them.
Yeah.
But either way, I think there's Michigan State, Penn State, in the Indiana, Illinois. Obviously, you get teams like Purdue in there. They're going to be dangerous come tournament time. But that's really all I have for the Big Ten.
Yeah.
We're going to have some more coming up. We got Big 12 coming up. We got Pac-12 coming up. ACC, SEC, you name it, we got it. And we got some March Madness stuff coming up here.
It's going to be a great next 30-something days. I mean, you get the end of the year, the team's got to win games, and then you get conference tournaments. Honestly, one of my favorite times of the year. You got conference tournament, then you get lined up a whole week of NCAA March Madness. I mean, there's nothing better.
But everybody, this was the Sports Geeks podcast. They play, we talk. Thanks, guys.